What up guys, my name is Adrian from YouMotorcycle. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but I've been putting this off for so long that I just gotta do it. Today's video is about how to import a motorcycle from the US all the way over to here in Canada. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, yeah, okay, so the exchange rate really kind of sucks for Canadians, but the fact is there are 10 times as many people in the US and there are way more times than that as many motorcycles over in the US. So honestly, sometimes you can really get a good price buying a motorcycle from the US. And even after duties and everything, you bring it to Canada, you can sometimes save like thousands of dollars. So I'm going to talk to you guys step by step how to do this. It's not a super long process. I'm going to try and keep this as concise as possible, but there are a lot of details and there are also a lot of ways where I can give you extra tips to help you save money. So I hope that you're going to appreciate me giving a little bit more detail because it's going to ultimately help you to import your bike successfully to Canada, not have bad surprises, and save a bunch of money along the way. Let's get right into it. Step one, you're going to want to make sure that your bike, the bike you want to buy, can actually be brought into the country. Not every bike that can be registered in the US can be registered here in Canada. There is a website which is super easy to use, super easy to look up stuff. It's called the RIV admissibility list, at least that's what I call it. I will link to it in the description box kind of underneath this video down here. This is a sample of what it looks like. So I typed in, Harley Davidson on there and it's showing me which models are okay, which model years are okay. It tells me that certain modifications may be required. Let's skip ahead to step two. Step two is I want you guys to know what the rules are, because if you know the rules, you can find ways of saving money. So here, this is just gonna be a couple tips for you. The first one is some motorcycles have final assembly in the US. Maybe they're made 90% of the way in Japan or in Italy or in Germany or whatever, but the final production, the last 10% of the mile is done in the US. That means final assembly is in the US. On those bikes, you will not have to pay duty when you're crossing the border into Canada. That's really good to know because that can save you a bunch of money. Second thing that you should know that can save you a bunch of money is that every state has their own sales tax rate. Just like every province in Canada, we have our own sales tax rate. Same thing with the US. But in the US, there are actually 5 states that they don't have any sales tax at all. Those 5 states are, let me see, I remember, Delaware, Montana, Oregon, New Hampshire, and Alaska. Boom, nailed it, kind of. If you're buying from one of those states, you will not have any state sales tax, so that is dope. Step 3, I want you guys to know what it is exactly you're getting yourself into. So what I mean by that is, if it's a used bike, do you know the history of this? Like, you're traveling hundreds of kilometers to get to them. Who knows what the story is with this bike? So I recommend spend an extra 30 bucks. Buy a Carfax or buy like an auto check. It's just you give it the VIN number and the system tells you if there's ever been any kind of records of theft, records of the thing being reported missing, accidents reported on there, any kind of insurance claims, yada, yada, yada. For the amount of time and money you're about to spend going to the US to buy a bike, spend the extra 30 bucks, make sure the bike you're going for is actually legit okay. Another tip for you guys, likewise, if you're buying from a dealer, maybe it's a brand new bike instead of a used bike, make sure that you get something in writing from the dealer, just breaking down exactly what the costs are going to be. Make sure that you don't want to get there and find that there's a surprise $400 PDI dealer inspection. You don't want to find that there's a bunch of bad surprises. Make sure you get everything in writing. Another thing I want you guys to know is make sure you ask for pictures of what the speedometer looks like and find out if the speedometer can be changed from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. If the speedometer has both miles and kilometers, you're okay. But if it only has miles, you actually need to change the whole speedo. Now you can get like a factory one, it's gonna cost you a ton of money. Honestly, on mine, I spent like 130 bucks, called a Vapor as the model. It's a bit of a universal speedometer dash. They do make them specific for different vehicles. You can check out on Amazon, there's all kinds of ones. I'll post a link in the description box down below. Basically, I put one on there. I put like 10,000 kilometers on that bike. That thing runs awesome. A lot of people had no idea it was aftermarket. It looks great. It has more stuff than the stock dashboard did, so that was a win. The last thing I just want you guys to know before we move on, different border crossings have different rules in terms of import-export stuff. So you might want to just call up that border crossing place in advance and say, hey, is that okay? Are there any specific rules? Maybe they have certain times, maybe they don't. Just call first. Again, you're going to spend so much time doing this. Just cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure it's all done right. Step 4, do the paperwork. Not really 4 words, but whatever. The paperwork is actually pretty simple. Just, you got to do it. Right? So the first one is a worksheet. This is like a standard document. I will just show you guys over here how simple it is. Basically, if you've ever filled in, like, I don't know, a contest raffle entry, you can fill out this form. It's super, super easy. The second thing is a bill of sale. If you ever bought a used vehicle before, you can do a bill of sale. I'll probably post a sample on my website, YouMotorcycle.com. I'll link to it up somewhere over there. You want the VIN number, you want the date, you want the full name of the buyer, full name of the seller, you want both you guys to sign. You understand how to do a bill of sale. You don't need me to explain. The last is a recall clearance letter. That pretty much says, let's say I'm buying a Harley Davidson Sportster. I would have to go to a Harley dealer and I would have to say, here's the VIN number. Can you please, Harley man, look up in your system and let me know if there are any outstanding recalls on my vehicle. If there is, the Harley guy is going to just say, yeah, we'll book an appointment, we'll fix it. Sure. If there's nothing outstanding, honestly, you should call them first with the VIN number before you go there so you don't have any bad surprises. Then they will just print you out something with their company letterhead. You know, it'll say Harley Davidson of New York City or wherever. A little screenshot from Harley's own platform has to be pasted into there, and it has to say, you know, vehicle with VIN number X, Y, and Z, totally free of recalls. Perfect. Print that out, get a PDF copy if you can, bring it with you, you're gonna need that. Boom, step 5. We are like way past almost halfway done, so just stick with me. Step 5 is really simple. Get insurance if you plan on riding it back. If you do plan on riding it back, just know this. Some Canadian companies may or may not cover a bike that you don't really own yet or whatever over there, so it might be really complicated. And also, US companies, a lot of them won't insure you on a US bike if you don't have an international driver's license, and you can only get an international driver's license in Canada, not in the US. So if you are planning on riding a bike yourself, personally to me, it sounds like a pain in the butt. But if you're planning on doing that, then please get your international driver's license before you go, because once you get to the US, you're out of luck. Step 6, if you are not planning on getting a motorcycle that you're gonna ride yourself, if you're just gonna put in the back of your truck or you got a trailer and you're just gonna throw it on the trailer, all the power to you. That's personally what I would do. You're just gonna have to get the standard stuff you get, like a bill of sale, the ownership, make sure it's totally signed and filled out. The border guys are gonna think it's sketchy if you show up and you're like signing your name in your form when they ask you to because you didn't already fill it out before. So just do everything legit, sign your stuff right away. Oh, and another tip that I kind of forgot, if you're buying from a dealership, make sure that you're not gonna have like a bill of sale, right? They're gonna have like an invoice for whatever you're charged. Make sure that your receipt is gonna have a breakdown, right? So if you did have to pay taxes, if you did have to pay freight or PDI or any kind of dealer fees, admin, whatever, make sure that's all broken down because you only want to get taxed on the actual value of the vehicle. You don't want to get taxed on all the other stuff that was like and. So make sure the dealer provides you with something that is super clear. Step 7, we are almost there, second last step. And this is all about what you're actually gonna do when you approach the border coming back into Canada. So you wanna have a few things with you. You wanna have your motorcycle, obviously. You're gonna wanna have your driver's license, passport, all the stuff you normally have when you're crossing the border. And you're gonna wanna have that bill of sale or that certificate of origin or the invoice, all that stuff that proves that this is what you paid for, this is what it is. What happens after that is basically they are going to pretty much say, okay, stamp, you're approved, or stamp, you are rejected. If you're rejected, you probably did something wrong, so go back and watch my video from scratch and you can figure out where you messed up. And if you are approved, that's great. They're gonna say, okay, go down to this hallway over here. So you're gonna go down to the hallway over there, and when you get there, it's basically where they start to take your money. So you're gonna have to pay your provincial tax. That's gonna vary based on what province you're importing into. You're gonna have to pay possibly a duty. So remember when I was talking about if the bike had final assembly in the US versus final assembly overseas somewhere, you might have to pay a duty based on how that plays out. So you're gonna have to pay $200 RIV or RIV, $200 RIV Canada fee. Okay, boom, sure, whatever. The fee includes basically a background check on your bike, and it also includes an inspection that you're gonna have to get once you're in the Canadian border, which we will talk about later on. All right, so when you're done paying all this money, you get what's called Form 1. Form 1 is super important. You got to complete Form 1. Be very careful, be precise, don't smudge it up. It's simple, everything's super simple. You just got to be careful and just do it right. That's all there is to it. You get Form 1, you're going to need that for later on, which we're going to talk about in Step 8. Step 8 is we are now in Canada. Congratulations, you made it, kind of, but you legally can't have your bike on the road just yet because you've got more shit to deal with, unfortunately. So that Form 1, you got to fill that out. You have to send that in to RIV. It's going to tell you right on the form how to complete that. Don't worry, it's not hard. You send that in, and then this is the hardest part. You got to sit and wait. Basically, you've sent in your Form 1 and you got to sit there. If a week goes by and you haven't heard back from RIV, get on the phone and start harassing these people. Because what you need is, you need them to send you what's called a Form 2. I know, Form 1, Form 2, crazy, right? Once they send you a Form 2, boom, grab your form, grab your bike, put on your trailer, or call somebody who tows motorcycles like me, link somewhere, and get the bike over to a Canadian Tire. I'm saying Canadian Tire because basically they take your Form 2 and they make sure the information on Form 2 matches the actual vehicle that's in front of them, which is the motorcycle that you just imported. And they do a couple quick checks, and then they just stamp approval or stamp rejection. If it's rejection, again, you probably screwed something up. Start over again, keep going. If it's approval, boom. So now your bike's passed inspection, and it's got its little Form 2 approved. You got a bunch of paperwork. You go over to Service Canada. Sit back, man. Pull up your feet. Congratulations. Your bike's now officially, I guess, a Canadian motorcycle citizen, whatever it's called. I don't know. But I hope you guys found that useful. I'm sorry if I kind of went on too much detail somewhere. I just thought there was a lot of opportunity for me to help you guys in this process and to try and make it as easy as possible, and also try and put a couple tips in there that might save you some money. If you did like the video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content aimed at helping motorcyclists, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and help me grow my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Adrian from YouMotorcycle. Ride safe, but have fun. Peace.